Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Lafayette Parish School Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. First up on our agenda tonight is Bo Boyer, candidate for 48th District State Representative. Mr. Boyer?
Thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to address you all this evening. And thank you all, first of all, thank you all for your service and what you do for the youth in Lafayette Parish. My name is Bo Boyer, and I'm excited to be with you here this evening to formally announce my candidacy for Louisiana House of Representatives, District 48. District 48 includes parts of Lafayette Parish, mostly that's in the Broussard and the Youngsville area. So I'm looking forward to running this race and hopefully being able to serve District 48 in Baton Rouge. I'm married to Casey. We have 4 beautiful kids. We live in New Iberia. Casey is from Lafayette. She was a mighty lion. But we have been living in New Iberia for the last 21 years, raising our kids. And in that time, we've spent most of our time, our spare time, dedicated to serving our community and serving others. And our church and our civic organizations have been recognized on a number of occasions for that. Here in Acadiana, or in the Lafayette area, was named one of the, I think 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, in that inaugural class of 20 under 40 by the Daily Advertiser and the 705. The Chamber Civic Leadership Award, for the Iberia Chamber Leadership Award last year. Quantity of the Year and multiple other items. One of my proudest accomplishments has been the creation of the Iberia Parish Foundation, which is a geographic affiliate of the Community Foundation of Acadiana. Through that, we've been able to spearhead a lot of projects, including a large initiative which I led to bring Leader and Me to Iberia Parish. You all in Lafayette have taken it to another level and have Leader and Me in most of your schools. We're on our 5th school right now in Iberia Parish, and I'm excited to be a very instrumental part at getting that to New Iberia. I don't say these things to pat myself on the back. That's not how I operate. We don't do these things for any kind of recognition. But I want you all to know that this service didn't begin with a race. This is a lifetime of service, and the state representative initiative is just the next step in continuing to improve the lives of others in our community. Professionally, I have a firm, CoSource Financial Group. We handle business retirement plans. So our clients run from New Orleans to Houston, up and down Highway 90 and I-10. And I spend my days and evenings working with business owners, convincing them to use our services, consulting with them on financial issues, and also meeting with the employees in these businesses. And we spread across a variety of just about every industry in South Louisiana. A lot of oil and gas clients, as you can imagine, agriculture industry, industrial construction, transportation, you name it. But that ability to serve this large group of clientele across these industries gives me a unique perspective to bring to Baton Rouge. Can not only we voice the concerns of the business owners, but we can also voice the concerns of all the employees that we meet in our enrollment meetings, the ones that we're spending time educating on what it takes to budget and to save and to put forth an effort to have a fruitful retirement. We know it keeps them all up at night, and that's thoughts and ideas that we're going to be bringing to Baton Rouge with us. One of the other big items that I think we have yet to address in Louisiana is out-migration. We've been talking about it ever since I was a young kid. We have yet to address it in Louisiana. We continue to chase our best and our brightest across state lines. As I mentioned, I have 4 children, and the thought of them having to go to another state in search of greener pastures doesn't sit very well with me. So in Baton Rouge, I'm going to do everything we can to create a business environment, not only where our existing businesses can survive, but where they can thrive. And if our existing businesses can thrive, other industry is likely to follow. I appreciate y'all's time here this evening. I thank y'all for the hospitality, and I can open it up to any questions if any of you may have.
Any board members have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Boyer, for spending your time with us.
Thank you all for having me. And I ask you for your prayers for my wife, for my kids, for our campaign, and ultimately, if you live in District 48, would like to earn your vote. Thank you.
Just for the record, Mr. Boyer's opponents have all been extended the same invitation. I think one of them will be speaking next month. I have not yet heard from the other two. Next is opening comments. Ms. Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Centeni. I would like to give a genuine and heartfelt thank you to all of the presenters, specialists, coaches, and teachers who led district professional development this past week. Sessions were well prepared, creative, and engaging. We greatly appreciate our teachers for being the amazing participants that you were. Today we began the first session of the LPSS New Teacher Academy. Thank you to all our expert veteran teachers across this district who have stepped up and agreed to serve as mentors to our district's new teachers. Our goal with this new academy is to support new teachers as they work through the challenges that novice teachers commonly face. District and school staff are ready and eagerly awaiting the arrival of Lafayette Parish students tomorrow. The efforts of all departments and school-level teams have been tremendous in making certain that students have safe and inspiring places to learn, and that teachers and school leaders have the tools they need to provide high-quality instruction to the students that we serve. Bus information was updated at noon today. Parents whose children ride buses are reminded to check the parent portal for current bus information. We look forward to a smooth start of the 2019-2020 school year and wish great success to our students and our educators. And in closing, I would like again to express on behalf of the Lafayette Parish School System many, many thanks to the Love Our Schools Foundation, its supporters, and our great community for their tremendous support of our school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trosclair. Mr. Broussard, do you have a comment to make?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As the superintendent mentioned, school is opening tomorrow, and we are excited about that. We've done a lot of work in preparation for that. And tomorrow, when some of the students get to school, some of the volunteers that is volunteering to greet them with a donut and to start their sugar high for the day. So they all be running around in circles. I'd like to mention that at North Side, that Unit 7, and perhaps with Dr. Shashon, is going to be greeting the students there. At Alice Boucher, A.B. Rubin and myself would be at Alice Boucher. At Lafayette Middle, Unit 7 is going to be there, and to Dr. Raphael Barranco, 100 Black Men is going to be there to greet the students. And I'm going to try to make every last one of them if I can, just to say good luck and try your very best. I want to thank Messrs. Donuts for giving us the opportunity to do that, because they're working well with the group. And our goal is to have someone at every school at one point in the future, have someone representing every school to greet the students and wish them well for the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brewster. I have a question. I live right behind Lafayette Middle School. Can you confirm for me whether there will be donuts there tomorrow morning? There will be? All right. I'll see you there. I'll see you there. It's for the students? All right. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Does anybody have, any board members have any additions to tonight's agenda? Ms. Morris.
I'd like to add to the agenda a discussion and/or action concerning the Love Our Schools unconditional gift of gift cards.
Well, second.
I have a motion from Ms. Morris, second by Mr. Konechzik, on to add a discussion and/or action concerning the Love Our Schools unconditional gift of gift cards. Do we have any public comment on this motion? Do we have any board member comment? I remind my fellow board members that this would need to be a unanimous vote in order to be added to the agenda. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
6 for, none against.
Motion carries. Item is added to the agenda. Next item on the agenda, Section 2.1, Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office School Resource Officer updates for 2019-2020. Mr. Knezik?
Mr. President, I move we go into executive session to hear the briefings from the LPSO SRO updates.
We have a motion by Mr. Knezik, second by Ms. Morris, that the board go into executive session to receive an update from the LPSO on the SRO program. Is there any public comment on this motion? Yes, Boudreaux? Mr. Knezik, would you,
I will add the second, yes. And to include on my motion, it would be consideration and/or action concerning prospective legal litigation.
okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Knezik, seconded by Ms. Morris, that the board go into executive session to receive an update on the SRO program, as well as discuss or consider, discuss prospective litigation. Sorry, I had to find it there. Do we have any public comment on this matter? Do we have any board member comment? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Six for, none against.
Motion carries. This is where the board will go into that little room right there for a few minutes, and then we will come back out and continue the meeting.
Got it.
All right.
Mr. President, I have a motion to go back into regular session.
I have a motion from Mr. Kinezic, seconded by Ms. Morrison, that the board go back into regular session. Do we have any public comment on that motion? Do we have any board member comment? Madam Secretary, I will call for the vote.
Six, for, none against.
Motion carries. Mr. Kinezic.
Mr. President, I move to accept the recommendation on the prospective litigation.
Motion by Mr. Kinezic, seconded by Ms. Morrison, that the board accept the recommendation of council. Oh, just the recommendation, I'm sorry. Do we have any public comment on this? Do we have any board member comment? I know it's very difficult to comment on something that you didn't hear, so it's okay. I am required by law to ask, though, if there is any public comment. Any board member comment? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. Though it would have been funny if somebody come up and said, I don't accept the recommendation. That would have been quality.
Six, for, none against.
Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the list of bids approved to be advertised by the superintendent. Do we have any public questions on this item? Do we have any board member questions or comments? Thank you for posting that, Mr. Guidry. The next item on the agenda is personnel changes for August 2019. Ms. Thibodeau.
Good evening. I have some introductions for you today. The first one is the Director of Elementary Schools, Janine LaFleur. Ms. LaFleur earned a Bachelor of Science and a Master of Education degree at UL Lafayette. Ms. LaFleur began her career as the assistant softball coach at Sam Houston State University. She then became a teacher, and her teaching experience included serving as a physical science and physical education teacher at Acadiana High School and then Paulboro Middle School. Next, Ms. LaFleur was promoted to assistant principal, then principal at S.J. Montgomery Elementary School, and her principal tenure at S.J. Montgomery School was for 6 years. Ms. LaFleur has served as the ELA and Social Studies academic specialist for the district for the last 2 years. During her career, Ms. LaFleur has been awarded District Softball Coach of the Year, Paulboro Teacher of the Year, was an LEF Teacher Nominee, and LPSS Elementary Principal of the Year. Congratulations, Ms. LaFleur.
Members of the board and Ms. Trosclair, I am so humbled and honored to accept this position. I am excited for the new challenge, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I want to thank Ms. Kathy Aloisio. She's been such a good mentor for me and such an unselfish leader. Thank you.
The next employees I'll be introducing are our new assistant principals. The first one is the assistant principal at Southside High School, Allison Bloomer. Ms. Bloomer has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from UL Lafayette and a Master of Education degree from the American College of Education. Ms. Bloomer has served as a middle school teacher at Youngsville Middle School. Her most recent position has been instructional leader at Scott Middle School. She has been awarded Youngsville Middle School Teacher of the Year and Lafayette Parish Middle School Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Ms. Bloomer.
Ms. Strasclair, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Ms. Catherine Cassidy and the board for this opportunity. I can't tell you how excited I am to start this new school year as a Shark. Throughout my 17 years of education, I've been surrounded by a group of people who have supported me, pushed me, and inspired me to be where I am today. And so my hope moving forward is that I can do the same for those that work alongside me. Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce the new assistant principal at Carencro High School, Larry Bro. Mr. Bro has earned a Bachelor of Science degree from McNeese University and a Master of Science degree from Capella University. Mr. Bro has taught social studies classes at Lake Arthur High School, Cocoa Beach Junior Senior High School, Acadiana High School, and Carencro High School. He has also served as an Acadiana High assistant football coach, Acadiana High School head wrestling coach, Abbeville High School head football and athletic director, and Carencro High School assistant football coach. Congratulations, Mr. Bro.
I'd like to thank the board and Ms. Trosclair and all of the staff at Lafayette Parish School System, my principal, Mary Qualley, for giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to serving the faculty and students at Carencro High School. Thank you.
Next is the assistant principal at GT Linden Elementary School, Nancy Crater. Ms. Crater earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from UL Lafayette. She earned a Master of Education degree from the American College of Education. Ms. Crater has served as a teacher at Alice Boucher Elementary School and as an instructional leader at Ridge Elementary School. Ms. Crater was recognized as Teacher of the Year when she was at Alice Boucher and also when she was at Ridge Elementary School. Congratulations, Ms. Crater.
Superintendent Trosclair, President.
See if you can pronounce it right.
Centanelli, sorry, members of the board. Sorry. My last 19 years as an educator has given me the needed skills to become the next assistant principal of Green Tea Linden. I do want to thank past mentors who have made me who I am today as a leader, especially Dr. Robley and Ms. Dickerson. As the new assistant principal, my plan is to continue to work alongside of faculty and staff, having a laser-like focus on the individual needs of students at every performance level. I appreciate this opportunity and look forward to sustaining student and school level growth. Thank you.
Did you get your car out of the Enterprise lot?
Next, I would like to introduce the assistant principal. It's an itinerant position between Acadiana High School and Lafayette High School. Sherry Livesay. Ms. Livesay has earned a Bachelor of Science degree from UL Lafayette and a Master of Education from Northwestern State University. Ms. Livesay's teaching experience includes teaching at Iberia Middle School, Lauraville Middle School, Westgate High School, and Lafayette High School. Ms. Livesay's most recent position has been serving as the instructional leader at Lafayette High School. Can you come up, Ms. Livesay?
First of all, I'd like to say I am truly honored and humbled. I do not believe that I would be in this position if it were not for the faculty that I work so closely with. They have taught me everything that I know and just continue to help me grow and progress in this profession, and I'm just there for the students, and go Lafayette High and Acadiana.
The next assistant principal is at La Rosen Preparatory, Kim McGee. Ms. McGee earned a bachelor's degree from Northwestern State University, Master's of Education degree from the American College of Education. Ms. McGee's teaching experience included serving as a business teacher at Leesville Junior High School, Lafayette High School, and AIM Academy. She also served as an algebra teacher at Beauchesne High School. She was then promoted to data analyst at MP Moss Preparatory School. Her most recent experience has been serving as the academic and behavior interventionist at La Rosen Preparatory School.
Good evening. Superintendent Trosclair, President Centini, members of the board. I would like to thank God in His infinite wisdom, my husband Kevin, and my children for their continuous support. I'd also like to thank Ms. White for this opportunity and her invaluable leadership guidance. Rest assured that this is not a job that I take lightly and will make every decision in the best interest of our most precious assets, our students. I look forward to building upon the culture of learning that Ms. White has established over the past 2 years, a culture that puts academics and children in the forefront and realizes the importance of investing in all children, a culture that realizes that all children can and will learn. I feel blessed to be a part of the Lafayette Parish school system and look forward to working with stakeholders to ensure our students attain greatness. Again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Next is the assistant principal at L.J. Alamo Middle School, Amy Moss. Ms. Moss earned a Bachelor of Arts and a Master of Education degree from UL Lafayette. Ms. Moss's experience includes serving as an English teacher at Crowley Middle School, Broussard Middle School, and serving as an instructional leader at Edgar Martin Middle School. Ms. Moss is a nationally board certified teacher. She was the author and recipient of the LEF Model School Impact Grant, High-Low Books to Reading Success, co-authored and was a recipient of the LEF Classroom Grant Teen Bibliotherapy, Students and Parents Reading About Issues, co-authored and recipient of the LEF School Impact Grant, Let's Go on a Reading Safari. Congratulations, Ms. Moss.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Superintendent Trosclair and the board for my appointment as assistant principal at LJ Alamo. I'd also like to thank my principal, Mr. Eric Luquette, and congratulate him on his recent appointment as principal at Alamo. I'd also like to thank my parents, who were both educators for 30 plus years, for their support and inspiration. I'm really excited to be a part of the Alamo team and help continue the tradition of excellence in academics and the arts at Alamo. I'd like to wish everybody a great first day of school tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to a great school year at Alamo. Thank you.
The next position is assistant principal at Dr. Raphael Barranco Elementary School, Sarah Mouton. Ms. Mouton received a Bachelor of Science degree from UL Lafayette and a Master of Educational Leadership degree from North Central University. Ms. Mouton's academic career has included teaching at Highland Elementary School, South Crowley Elementary School, and Alice Boucher Elementary School. She has also served as an instructional leader at Alice Boucher Elementary School, and her most recent position has been master teacher at Alice Boucher Elementary School. Congratulations, Ms. Mouton.
Board members, Superintendent Trosclair, and district leaders. I am grateful for the opportunity to continue serving the students of Lafayette Parish. I am committed to excellence in education and look forward to partnering with district leadership, my school-based colleagues, parents, and community members to provide opportunities for the students of Barranco Elementary. The impact we have on the lives of students proves to be my daily motivation. I am excited and humbled to be a part of the good work here in Lafayette. Thank you.
The last introduction tonight is Assistant Principal at Paul Bro Middle School, Christy Thomas. Ms. Thomas has earned a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Science degree from UL Monroe. Ms. Thomas's teaching experience has included teaching physical education, health, science, education for careers, and JAG. She has also coached basketball at Franklin Parish High School, Bastrop High School, Durham Middle School, and Washita Parish Middle and High Schools. Ms. Thomas comes to us from the Vermilion Parish School System, where she served in the position of disciplinarian. Congratulations. Ms. Thomas, come on up. We're happy to have you. Welcome.
To Superintendent Trosclair, Board President Centini, to all board members, I'm humbled and ecstatic to be a part of Paul Bro Middle School. I'm confident that our team will provide high-quality education for all of our students. Thank you to Ms. Rayburn for placing your confidence in my abilities. It is my honor and privilege to accept this position. I'm committed to Paul Bro Middle School and a continuous growth mindset. Our team is committed to preparing students for a successful school year in the middle school years and prepared for high school. Thanks again.
Thank you to all of you, and I speak for the board when I wish you a very best first day of school tomorrow. I know several of you have brought your families, and while we certainly invite you to stay with us for the rest of the evening as we handle the business items on our agenda, we will certainly not look askance at you if you decide to take this opportunity to leave. So. Okay, so what I will do now is I will read every item on our consent agenda. Board members, if you would like to pull an item for a separate vote, please say so at the appropriate time. The first item is discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 07-19-1960 addressing LGBTQ bullying.
Pull that, please.
The second item is discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 08-19-1962 addressing bullying prevention.
Pull that, please.
Discussion and/or action concerning approval of quotes for Burke Elementary fire line backflow preventer. Oh, no one wants to talk about that. Discussion and/or action concerning approval of bids for LaRosen Preparatory Gymnasium air conditioning. Discussion and/or action concerning approval of guaranteed maximum price for Middlebrook Elementary Classroom Wing Edition. Discussion and/or action concerning budget revision to self-funded construction fund for elevator repairs at the Central Office Annex Building. Discussion and/or action concerning ratification of bids for the Lafayette High Welding Shop electrical upgrades. Discussion and/or action concerning the approval of the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for fiscal year 2019. Discussion and/or action concerning bid rejection, interactive 3 LCD projector and wall mount bid number 90-19. Discussion and/or action concerning bid rejection, portable building furniture bid number 78-19. Discussion and/or action concerning granting authority to the board president and superintendent to execute the act of sale for the purchase of the former Camping World site located at 3030 Northeast Evangeline Thruway for a bus and maintenance facility. Discussion and/or action concerning proposal recommendation and award Medicaid billing RFP number 24-20. Discussion and/or action concerning the grant fund summary for June 2019. Discussion and/or action concerning budget to actual reports July 2019. Discussion and/or action concerning 2019A Construction Fund Budget 2019-2020. Discussion and/or action concerning revision of bond and pay-as-you-go project listing.
Pull up, please.
Discussion and/or action concerning budget revisions to the general fund and self-funded construction fund. Discussion and/or action concerning the athletic trainer job description. Discussion and/or action concerning the minutes of July 17th, 2019. And discussion and/or action concerning Love Our Schools' unconditional gift of gift cards.
Mr. President, I do not want to pull 16, I'm sorry.
You do not want to pull 16. Did you want to pull 17?
No, neither. I'll ask a question.
Oh, that's fine. So for those of us new to the school board meetings, what we will do now is we will accept public comment on items 3 through 20. We will discuss and vote on items 1 and 2 separately. So at this time, if you have public comment to make on items 3 through 20, any of those, please come forward and say your piece. Do you have any board member questions or comments? Mr. Knezik?
I just wanted to get staff to highlight the changes that are on 416, the project listing bond and pay-as-you-go.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Guidry, the change is for the Camping World project? Or you may not have been paying attention.
I'm sorry.
The change to the project listing on 4.16 is for the Camping World site?
Not only the Camping World site, but there's an adjustments column that reflects the other changes as well.
Mr. Guidry, could you
Would you
just
like-
highlight those for us?
Certainly. We have a $650,000 increase. It reflects the agenda item concerning Middlebrook, the addition of 2 classrooms, replacement of intercom system, fire alarm system. We have some reductions that reflect projects that are finishing up or nearing completion, and we had excess budgets, so we're reducing those budgets and moving those amounts to contingency for other projects. We have an increase for the office consolidation line item. That just reflects an increase that was approved by the board at a former meeting. It just hadn't been brought into the schedule. We have an increase to Drexel Elementary roofing, $65,000. Same situation, previously approved but not brought into the schedule. Ove Como roof replacement, slight increase there as well of $265,000. The Lafayette High welding shop, inclusion of that project of $200,000. And then the Camping World site for $2.8 million. And those reflect all of the changes that are included in the project listing.
One quick question, Mr. Guidry. The reductions, are those reductions in scope, or are those contingency funds that we just didn't use, or bids that came in lower than we expected?
The latter. They came in at less than was originally estimated.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, I move to approve all items not pulled.
We have a motion from Mr. Knezik, second by Mr. Broussard, that the board approve all items not pulled. Once again, we will offer public comment. Board member comment. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. And I will use this moment as an opportunity to point out to anyone 4.17 is this board allocating the entire increase in MFP funding that the state of Louisiana gave to us this spring in their legislative session to the self-funded construction fund line item committed school site renovations for Prairie Elementary, Carencro Heights Elementary, and Lafayette High School. This is an ongoing commitment that this board has made to rebuild those 3 schools and us putting recurring revenue towards that task. I know budgets are not everybody's bag, but they're mine. So I just wanted to point that out because it's a little bit of a dry topic, but we are continuing to do the work of saving money to one day rebuild those schools.
Six, for, none against.
So now we will go to item 4.1, discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 07-19-1960, addressing LGBTQ bullying. Mr. Knezik.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve Resolution 07-19-1960 as attached in the public content section of this agenda item to increase awareness and improve programs and policies to combat LGBTQ bullying.
We have a motion from Mr. Knezik, seconded by Ms. Morrison, that the board approves Resolution 07-19-1960 as attached in the public content section of this agenda item to increase awareness and improve programs and policies to combat LGBTQ bullying. Do we have any public comment on this item? Please form a line by the podium. Please say your name. If you happen to know which district you live in, we would appreciate that as well.
Hi, my name, is this on? Okay, thank you. My name is Rebecca Bowers. I am semi-new to Lafayette, so excuse me, I am figuring out my district as I continue to work through the move. So I just wanted to speak in approval of this motion. Tonight I'm here to speak for youth who might be in fear of speaking for themselves or speaking for others, just to help us all understand we all grew up in a very different social climate. So bullying looks very different today than it does with a lot of our youth. And now majority of you work directly with youth, and so you get a chance to see that pretty often. And then if you don't work directly with youth, then you get a chance to hear it and see it through different forms of media, as well as in the Hollywood setting. All of that trickles into what happens with our youth. With that, the way that our technology has advanced, that kind of social torment and bullying lasts a lot longer with our youth now because you're unable to pull things off the internet. This bill would add LGBTQ language, education, perception, awareness, and support to the already existing anti-bullying efforts that we try to do our best in support of educators and youth leaders. While we shouldn't be here to argue one person is more important than the other, that's something that I've heard quite a bit in the past few days. I do think it's important to state that LGBTQ youth statistically suffer at the hands of bullying in today's culture more than youth who do not identify as such. I'm going to include a couple of different statistics that I found just very lightly Googling. It is reported that suicide is the second leading cause of death among youth people ages 10 to 14, and that LGBTQ youth contemplate suicide at almost 3 times the rate than a heterosexual youth. With each LGBTQ victimization, such as verbal, physical, harassment, or abuse, it increases the likelihood of self-harming behavior by 2.5 times than an average person. I'm a psychotherapist here in Lafayette. I trained in Chicago, Illinois for a couple of years. That's where I earned my master's degree in clinical counseling. And I see about 6 to 14 youth discussing self-harm, bullying, harassment, and abuse from their peers each week. Of those youth, I see about 20 people. And with those specific numbers, the 11 out of 14 would identify as LGBT. And so those numbers are a really big deal. Whenever I first started working with my practice, I started with 14 kids total within the first 2 weeks, and 8 of them identified as LGBT. And that was during the summertime, and that was prior to, obviously the school starting, but even then, kids were discussing bullying, and kids were discussing harassment. So sometimes I get a chance to work with friends. Sometimes the stuff gets resolved without me, which is really great. But other times, school counselors and teachers have to get involved in the aftermath. So when unprocessed trauma passes with each day, it further integrates into the very identity of each person that it affects. Those who identify as LGBT often do not report the bullying or harassment for over 3 months or longer because they fear that people do not understand or will be able to properly handle the situation. So that's a long time to suffer. 3 months is longer than the summer is. So imagine all of that. There's a lot going on with you, and throughout that time, you're still feeling very unsafe. So just to kind of give you kind of an understanding of what they go through, we can think about the physical trauma that we've all gone through in different parts of our life. Maybe you rolled an ankle whenever you're mowing the grass. I do that every now and then. You have a bruised shoulder, a slipped disc in your back. I know a lot of people suffer through that, and man, that is hurtful. Or maybe you knocked your head on the car door, or maybe whenever you're trying to put your groceries in and your car lifts it and go all the way up, you bump your head. So we experience physical trauma, and we can get over it in a week to 5 months. Well, think about the last time that someone told you that you were going to go to hell, or the last time that somebody told you that you were disgusting, or made a sex joke about your life, or punched you for holding somebody's hand, or beat you up for wearing some eyeliner or maybe penciling in your eyebrows that morning. That's the kind of stuff that a lot of our youth deal with. And so just imagine that at a young person's age, and then not being able to tell anybody about it. And then if they can tell people about it, they just haven't been properly trained with just the right kind of language or the right kind of understanding of what to do in that situation. And that's all we're trying to do here, is just trying to add that kind of language, that kind of awareness and prevention to our anti-bullying. If we can do that, we're going to drastically change the way that youth develop today, and we're going to see really great leaders in the future. And I'm fine with not having a job in the future if that means that a lot of people don't have to come and process their trauma. I'm great with that. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. Please state your name and...
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Dorwick. I'm District 3. And I am at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, where I teach in the English department. Speaking for myself, I am interested. Oh, I'm also on the board of directors of PFLAG Lafayette. I just wanted to add to what the previous speaker has said. She's quite correct. The disparity in suicide rates between LGBTQ individuals and those who identify as straight, for lack of a better term, is huge. And it, depending on who you read, it can be between 40 to 60% greater than the folks who don't identify as a sexual minority. Growing up as a sexual minority, I experienced much of that kind of harassment, and I considered suicide many a time. I have lost 2 of your alum to suicide, one from a graduate of Lafayette High, another from a graduate of Acadiana High. I am also on suicide watch for 5 other individuals, young adults who have been graduates and who are under great stress right now. This policy would be a great addition to the kind of work that I try to do in the courses that I teach at UL Lafayette. And it is just necessary, in my opinion, to recognize that people are different and to let them know, to let the students in the school district know that they are fully human, that they are able to exist, that they deserve to exist, and that they don't need to self-harm, self-medicate, or take their own lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hi, good evening. My name is Diogo Tavares, and I'm in District 9. And I think every human being deserves to be taken care of and respected. To create a rule that singles out sexuality, first of all, our federal laws have protected classes. And I think that everybody should be treated the right way, regardless of who you are, what color skin, your religion. And to create this extra law in our books is just creating an extra law. I mean, there's bullying regardless of what sexuality you are, what religion you are, what race you are. And I think that's what we should teach our children, is how to treat each other right, with respect, not based on the classes, not based on any of that. And it starts at home. And to add this law on the books, or this resolution, really just ends up watering down. What is somebody going to come up here and say, hey, I have 11 toes, somebody's discriminating against me, we need a law for somebody with 11 toes? No, I think that we should just teach our children how to take care of each other and respect each other. Those are my thoughts. This is just another sentence on the books. And we really need to fix the problem, not by creating another rule, but fixing the problem that we have in our schools with bullying, period. And I can tell you that my son is not LGBTQ, but moving here from another location and having served my country in the military, this was difficult for my kids to move to a place where there was nobody else in their class that was military. And my kids were bullied too. But are we going to add a rule that says we need to protect our military families because they can be bullied? No, we just need to take care of each other. That's what we need to teach our children, is to be kind to each other, love one another. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tavares.
Good evening. Matthew Humphrey, president of PFLAG Lafayette and resident of District 9 as well. Jeremy Hidalgo is my board member. I would agree with the prior speaker that it does start at home, and I would encourage you all to go check the KATC Facebook comments and see how well we're teaching our kids. I didn't see any children in the audience. If you don't want to have examples come on through your ears about what LGBTQ bullying sounds like, then you may want to leave. Faggot, pansy, sissy boy, dick breath. I'll see you in the locker room.
Mr. Humphrey, I would ask you to watch your language, please.
I understand. So it's going to be censored in a room full of adults at a school board meeting. I understand. Proving my point. I get it. I'll see you in the locker room, effing queer. Kill yourself, homo. God hates fags and you're going to burn in hell. Damn, that queer made a touchdown. Oh, you're really nice, but I can't be your friend because everyone thinks you're gay. Sitting alone at lunch or on the bus, crying alone in the bathroom. Failing a test because you got stabbed by a pencil and threatened with death if you told anybody. Getting beat up in the locker room while people watched, and failing PE because you stopped dressing out. Don't talk to him, he has AIDS. Getting a concussion, being singled out with headshots during dodgeball. Having your backpack and lunch thrown out the bus window on field trips. Being asked if you have sex with your dad. Being told, we're friends, but you can't come to my birthday party because people will make fun of me. Or getting invited so everyone has someone to make fun of. And taking all of their jokes in stride just to be included. Or joining in on the bullying to prove you're not gay. Hurting someone who is like you to save yourself from further rejection. All of these things are forms of bullying that I have either personally endured or witnessed or taken part in. Bullying is not an action, it is a state of mind. Queer kids are dying. You all have the opportunity today, right now, to say that you will not stand by and let children suffer. These are children. They don't have to be the adults of the future who would take to social media with thousands of comments, killing the children of the next generation with their words. This resolution doesn't encourage, advantage, or incentivize one sexuality or gender identity or gender expression over another. It certainly doesn't put LGBTQ kids above military kids or kids with 11 toes. Kids are dying. This recognizes an existing issue and asserts that our schools are committed to being present for all children, whether they are LGBTQ and need support, or whether they are not LGBTQ and need to learn that those that aren't like them are still human beings deserving of respect and dignity. Board members, if you vote no on this resolution, you are signing your name on the death warrants of every LGBTQ child that falls victim to suicide because of bullying. You are actively denying the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to LGBTQ kids and teens. You must vote yes and affirm that not just all men and women, but also children, whether cisgender, trans, gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, or otherwise, are created equal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey.
Hi, my name is Peyton Michelle. I am a transgender woman. I go by she, her pronouns. I do not live in Lafayette Parish, but I do live in St. Martin Parish, which is, right there. I went to Burbridge High. I'm the board secretary of an organization here called Louisiana Trans Advocates. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my life. I did not come out as transgender or know what transgender was until I was probably 16. So before that, I identified as gay. Well, not completely, but I went to school. I graduated in 2016. I was bullied from pre-K. I didn't even know what gay was, and people were calling me it. They were calling me the F word. It was rough. I had no clue what it was. I literally would just stand there and be like, thank you, I guess. I didn't really know what it meant until I was in first grade, in which case I kept telling people, no, I'm not. I don't know why you would think that. They knew before me, I guess you could say, but they really let me have it. In 5th grade, I was put on suicide watch. It was my 3rd fight with suicide. I had to see a counselor. My family had to, go with me. It was a big ordeal. But at no point did I say it had anything to do with me being gay, because I was so ashamed. I had been told for 6 or 7 years at this point that I was terrible and that I should die. People thought I was contagious and that I shouldn't touch them. All of the things you heard Matthew say are 100% things that I've heard. In 7th grade and 8th grade, I was aggressively bullied in the locker room, to the point where if I did not face my head into a corner, it meant I was probably going to cry that day. It continued until I graduated, if I'm being honest with you. And this isn't just from students. I've been bullied by teachers and staff of my schools. So, while other people are bullied too, I fully know that LGBT students face statistically enormously high rates of suicide and bullying and all of that really fun stuff, which is why I believe that this resolution needs to go into effect. I would really hope that it could be enforced. Even with it in effect, I'm sure people will still be scared to come out and say anything as not to be labeled, but it will go a long way in making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Catherine Hurst, and I'm in School Board District 7. And I am just going to be very brief. For all the reasons that the previous speakers spoke in favor of this, I urge you to vote for it. I stood up to speak because of the military man who stood up and said that federal law already protects the LGBTQ community. I'm a lawyer, and I can tell you it does not. Federal law does not protect LGBTQ people. State law does not protect them. And as an ally to that community that is so we're talking about really at risk, high risk youth, And I think we need to, as a community, stand by them and protect them. So what was said about the law is totally incorrect. And I think all the previous speakers gave all the reasons why this is needed. So I urge you to please vote yes.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst.
Hello, my name is Will Teely. I live in District 6. Justin Centeni is my board member. I would like to voice my support for this resolution. It may be difficult for heterosexual people to understand this because this is something you've never had to deal with, so allow me to explain. Our schools, frankly, are not a safe space for young people to come out of the closet. For many students, they are struggling simply to survive their high school years. This is because of the bullying that exists in our schools. They can often be very toxic environments. Most LGBT youth wait till college before coming out of the closet. I understand this one resolution won't solve all of our problems, but failure to pass this resolution tonight will certainly embolden bullies in our classrooms. Imagine the headlines that the school board considered protecting LGBT youth and instead decided to turn a blind eye to them. Whenever a major decision has to be made, I would suggest reflecting on your beliefs and mission statement to guide your decision. Of the Lafayette Parish school system's belief, 2 of them are that diversity enriches our school system and that a safe and supportive learning environment enhances student achievement. So I ask, how does this resolution not align with these beliefs? Also, I challenge anyone who raises their voice in opposition to the resolution to cite which of the Lafayette Parish school system beliefs apply to your argument. I suspect you'll have a difficult time doing so. Last week, my boyfriend and I participated in the Love Our Schools event. Specifically, we painted the restrooms at Lafayette Middle School. Our painting team was made up of young people and old, white folks and black, straight people and gay. We worked together as a team. We respected each other, we valued each other, and we celebrated our accomplishment of renovating those restrooms. But could you imagine if we were turned away from participating? If we were belittled and insulted and told just to go home? Now imagine this is what happens to LGBT youth on a regular basis. I ask this school board not to turn a blind eye to it. I encourage this school board to do the right thing and pass the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teely.
My name is Jared Eubanks. I'm a resident of District 6. I want to keep this brief, but I think something important for me to say is growing up as a gay man in school and being bullied, sure, all kids are bullied, but not only did I witness faculty turn a blind eye to this bullying, which I'm sure happens again to kids of all stripes, I watched faculty be complicit in it. I watched them say things about how homosexuality was wrong. And to be that child and to be bullied and then turn to your authority figures and only see them reinforce that, it is the most damaging part. It embeds so much shame and it makes it so hard to become who you are when you're a young person and you're trying to form your identity and trying to grow up. In addition, this is just reinforcing the values that everyone should be welcome. This is telling the faculty, this is telling students that everyone is welcome here, and that's why it's so important. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Eubanks.
Hi, I'll keep this very brief also because I had no idea I would be standing up here speaking tonight. But my name is Sissy Turk Belfour, and after the young man got up here to say that, of course, his kids weren't LGBTQ, I couldn't help but get up here to say that one of my sons didn't come out until he was a senior in college, and he graduated valedictorian from Lafayette High School. He was the top of his class at Tulane Medical School in cell and molecular biology. He was the top of his class in medical school. He was one of the few accepted to do his residency at UCLA. He was an all-state soccer player. He played all-stars in for basketball, for baseball, for everything you can think of. The most well-rounded, brightest, sweetest young person in the world. And for this man to get up here and say his children are not LGBTQ, you never know. And when my son came out and told us that he was gay, my husband and I bawled like babies for days, not because he was gay, but because he had kept that hidden in his heart and in his soul all of these years, not even because he didn't think his parents would accept him, but because of his teammates, his friends, some other extended family members or whatever, and also coming to the point of accepting himself. And he would tell us, when he came out and told us that he prayed every night to God to make him straight because he knew that he was gay, but he wanted to be straight so he would not be picked on or bullied or whatever. So don't ever say that your child is not gay or whatever, because you just never know what they keep inside of them. And that is why the statistics are with the LGBTQ community of the suicide, the rates of suicide, the rates of drug addicts, the rates of cutting themselves, and all of these things. So for him, for that young man, and for those of you who clapped whenever he talked about that, I mean, I just want to say, open your minds, because you never, ever know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Belfour.
Hi, my name is the Right Reverend Matthew Boudreau. I am not only a minister and a bishop within my denomination, but I am also a 7th grade ELA teacher at Paul Brown Middle. When I was in high school, my ambition was to be a Catholic priest. And when I took the exams and went through the psychologicals, they told me I had homosexual tendencies, which meant all of my dreams and all of my preparation and everything that I was preparing to do as I graduated high school was gone. I did not prepare for college the way everybody else did. So when I went back to school, my counselors were the first ones I ever came out to. And they accepted me right where I was. And they said, we're gonna get you through it. And they did. I come here because I want you to continue the support that Louisiana Public Schools have always given. Counselors have always given us support when others have turned us away. I was lucky in St. Bernard Parish to be at a magnet school where not only our counselors, but our principals and our teachers cared about us. And that even in our faith group, we had gay people that were out. That's not like that everywhere. But after speaking to all of my fellow teachers, both in the union as well as at Paul Bro, we're in full support of this resolution. It helps us to show our kids that we love them first and that we care about every part of their life. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment on this item? This is your last chance. Once the board starts commenting, we will not have any more.
I promise I'll keep this very brief. My name is Cherie Cohen. I'm the proud mother of a gay man. And I just like to say before, we've been here 16 years, but we lived in California. And my son went to a middle school that was very progressive. And this is Southern California. And I just want to clarify the bullying procedures that schools have, because they had a strict anti-bullying law on place in that county. But and it was a no tolerance, if anybody stepped out of line. But kids routinely would call my son fag. And hey, as boys joking around, whatever. And so I brought this to the attention of the principal, and the principal told me boys will be boys. So I just want to reiterate that when you're dealing with kids, LGBT kids, it is different. You need something special so that people are educated. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any board member comments or questions on this resolution? Mr. Knezik.
Mr. President, I'd like to start out by reading the resolution. Lafayette Parish School Board, Lafayette, Louisiana, Resolution 07191960, to recognize the need to prevent LGBTQ bullying. Whereas it is estimated there are 3.2 million youth ages 8 to 18 in the United States who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer questioning LGBTQ, and whereas federal statutes currently protect school children by prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sex, national origin, race, and religion, these statutes do not explicitly protect students from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. And whereas LGBTQ youth struggle every day with how to cope with the negative effects of verbal, physical, and cyberbullying, including increased risk of absenteeism, lower GPAs, school discipline, decreased rates of college or other post-high school plans, lower self-esteem, higher levels of depression, and other negative health outcomes, and cases leading to suicide directly related to the bullying by classmates. And whereas youth have the right to attend schools without having to fear for their safety or the threat of psychological intimidation or physical harm, and whereas LGBTQ youth should feel safe to learn without the fear of harassment and be allowed to live their lives with dignity and respect without discrimination or prejudice. And whereas the Lafayette Parish School Systems Board, educators, and staff have a responsibility to provide LGBTQ youth a productive and safe learning environment to improve their quality of life, future educational and career opportunities, and reduce the risk of suicide caused by LGBTQ bullying. Therefore, be it resolved by the Lafayette Parish School Board that, Section 1, all of the aforedescribed whereas clauses are herein adopted as part of this resolution. Section 2, the Lafayette Parish School Board commits to increasing awareness of LGBTQ bullying and prevention, and proactively improve programs and policies designed to combat LGBTQ bullying. Section 3, all resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Certificate, I, undersigned Secretary Treasury of the Lafayette Parish School Board, do hereby certify that the above aforementioned is a true copy of the resolution adopted at its regular board meeting of August 14, 2019, at which time a quorum was present, and that the same is in full force and effect, dated Lafayette, Louisiana, this 14th day of August 2019, signed Miss Irma Trosclair, Secretary Treasury, Lafayette Parish School Board. So I started with reading the resolution. I wrote this, just in case you're wondering. I didn't download it. If you've read the stories and you're here tonight, you probably did read the stories. You've heard about how this came about. A dear friend of mine who's in the audience tonight, as is my mother, but a dear friend of mine came up to me after LCG did not approve the resolution simply to recognize Pride Month. Pride Month exists, right? So whether we like it or not, whether we close our eyes and put our hands in front of our face, it exists. Gay people exist. Whether we like it or not, they exist. They love us. We love them. They're our teachers, our police officers, our military service people. I graduated the Naval Academy with someone who came out, unfortunately, 20 years later because he hid it for so many years. They're us. They might be on the board. I don't know. They're in this room. I guarantee it. But my friend explained to me how it was when he grew up. And this is somebody I care about, somebody I love. What it was like in Vermilion Parish to be bullied and to want to kill themselves. I mean, think about that. To want to kill yourself because of the way people treat you, because of the way they look at you, the things that they say to you, right? That's the genesis of this. That's what started it. I did my own research. And I'll tell you, I'm not running for re-election, so I can say anything I want. Well, I ran for Congress for a short period of time as a Republican. And let me tell you, If you're a part of the machine, or as soon as you're introduced to the machine, they tell you what you believe. They tell you, hey, you're a Republican. You're a conservative Republican, and if you want these votes, this is what you believe. And I'll tell you, the time I was running, I was struggling with that because I didn't believe that. I do believe that everybody should be treated equal. I do believe that people are born the way they are. And I've struggled with, identifying as a Republican sometimes because of that. Because I don't believe that. Now, not to get in my politics, there's a whole lot of other things I do believe in that are Republican, but that is one thing I didn't, and I've struggled with that. So when I had a friend come to me and explain to me the suffering that he went through, and honestly the disgust that he had, because our community, the community that all of us love and we're so proud of, couldn't simply recognize the fact that Pride Month existed, I felt compelled to do something. I did my own research. These are statistics I pulled off the internet. Not that everything on the internet is true, but these are because they come from the CDC. And I know this is an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable subject. It is. It's an uncomfortable subject. But unless we start talking about uncomfortable subjects, we will keep doing what we've been doing, right? We can go back in history, pick a decade, and there was somebody, women, right? 1920s, 2020, right? African Americans, pick the decade. There's always been a struggle for somebody, and maybe this is the time for this struggle. Maybe this is the time that somebody steps up and says, hey, let's do something about it. So, interestingly, Dr. Chasson, I'd like to recognize that you're the only board member running for re-election, as far as I can tell, who is here tonight to vote on this. So I applaud you for being here to vote tonight. As far as my board members go, I highly encourage you to vote for this. And my language is very deliberate and very specific. I'm not asking, and I'll tell you this, I said it on the radio today, I don't have the silver bullet. I don't have the solution. I do not know how we're all going to just get along. I don't know that. But I do know that if we start talking about it, then maybe we'll make some progress. Maybe, right? If we don't talk about it, we're not going to make any progress. But if we start talking about this really uncomfortable discussion and how we're going to address it, then maybe we're going to make some progress. And if you look at Section 2, I'm committing us to increasing awareness. Does that hurt anybody? Does that take away anybody's birthday? No. I'm asking to increase awareness. Increase the awareness of everybody, our staff, our students, our community, that these people exist. Whether you want to close your eyes and pretend they don't, they do exist. They do exist, and they do deserve dignity and respect. Second thing that I'm committing us to is to proactively improve programs and policies. It's generic, it's subjective. Are we really, am I committing us to some specific thing? No, but I am committing us to trying to improve, because again, I don't have the answer, but I'm committing us to trying to improve those programs and policies to prevent bullying so that people don't kill themselves, so that people grow up to be who they should be. So, fellow board members, I do encourage you to vote for this. I would love to have a unanimous vote of those of us who are here tonight to send a message out there that we care, regardless of our religion, right? Regardless of your religion, your political party, or whatever, you care about people, and you care and want to make sure that they are not bullied. Thank you.
Are there any other board member questions or comments? Dr. Chasson.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. Well, to start, I had a dear friend. I'm going to piggyback off of you, sir, if you don't mind. I had a dear friend who asked my opinion about what we're talking about tonight, and I got so enthusiastic about it. It was strange. I never noticed that I was the only one running. Honest to God, everyone, I know some folks aren't here, and I never noticed that I'm the only one running. So Elroy's not running. Well, you're unopposed. Congratulations, sir. You're not running. Mary's unopposed. Congratulations, ma'am. And Miss Morris said she's going home and she's resting. She's not running. And Justin's unopposed. I noticed that some folks weren't here, and dear God, I hope and I pray that if for some odd, strange reason that I wasn't able to be here tonight, for whatever reason, because there are reasons that, unbeknownst to other folks, that people have to miss meetings, that no one would just assume. So I'm not even going to remotely assume, because I love Jeremy, I love Britt, I love Tommy. I'm not even going to assume, and I don't want anyone here to do that. Because if you start assuming, then you're just as wrong as anyone who opposes this. I was thinking at home, I said, man, that's strange. If you vote yes for this, you're going to be criticized. If you vote no for this, you're going to be criticized. I said, if you abstain, you're going to be criticized. And if for some odd and strange reason you couldn't be here tonight, you're going to be criticized. Welcome to being a board member, everybody. If you didn't know. With that being said, really quickly, I got a very strange email, and that email set fire to me. I'm gonna be honest; it pissed me off.
Dr. Chasson, I'm going to ask you to watch your language, please.
I apologize, sir. If Eric can recall, I told Eric about it, and I was really upset. I said, how dare you threaten me and bully me and tell me, point blank, I'm going to make sure you're not reelected. Well, then I'm sorry, guys, then that changed the tune of all my emails at that point. Because my emails at that point were, yes, I do support this, happy to support it, I'm behind this 100%. Well, then that changed the tune. If anybody got an email from me after that point or before, the email, the tune changed. I heard I wasn't going to be reelected. That's fine with me. Who cares? Like, that's the whole point why we're here. And to then bully me cyber-wise, please come tell me to my face. I'd be more than happy to have that intelligent adult conversation with you. Don't bully me behind a keyboard. I was thinking about the sheriff situation. We were getting some stats on Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office and the great work that they do for us. And I was thinking to myself, man, that's some basic analogies right there. We got an entire city. There's a high crime rate in a particular area. Do we not pay attention to it? Of course we do. Do we not put more cars there, more officers? Do we not bring attention to what's going on? It's common knowledge, right? This is what we do. The patrolling would increase. There'll be a bigger presence. We would probably plan, set up, and fund, and put a new station in that area, just like we did where I live. And I'm thankful for it. You bring attention to it. You acknowledge what's going on. Then I thought about my schools. I said, well, wow. I was losing my mind at a point in time. Wanted better schools. Drove down to South Crowley and went bother that woman over there. She had turned 2 schools, just like J.W. Falk and Alice Boucher, from an F to an A and an F to an A. Well, we need to address that. And then you take a look at those low-performing schools and you focus on it. You decide to act on it. You plan. You maybe make a transformation zone. You address it. You're not necessarily ignoring the other issues that we all are aware take place, but you address it. And you put more teachers and more resources and more attention, and you acknowledge what's going on. Everybody needs to. Oh my God, I'm not going to go too much longer. Everybody needs to relax when it comes to these things. Like everybody, everybody, like, relax. Like, honest to God, relax. Who's to say the way I'm living my life is right and somebody else is wrong? I might be the one who's wrong. And I wouldn't want anybody judging me. That's horrible. And for my family members, for my immediate family members, and from one of my great friends, who I love him to death, even though I could strangle him sometimes, this vote will be for you. And I love everyone. I love all of y'all, okay? Thank you.
Please hold your applause. Thank you, Dr. Chasson. Is there any other board member comment? Mr. Broussard?
No, as I sit here as one of the most seasoned board member, I had a conversation this morning with a good friend of mine about bullying. And we called it something different back years ago when I was in school. John and playing a dozen. It was never this serious. And for those like my good friend, Mr. Knizik, who can walk into a room such as this and put this in the right to get almost anything they want because of who they are. But for a person like myself to walk into a room and be denied because of who I am, you would never feel what I feel, Dr. Chasson feel, Ms. Morrison feel, and what the LGBT members feel. So I can understand the way you feel about this and why you want this to be protected. Because in the many years that I've been here, I felt the same rejection. And it's harsh, and it's not nothing that'll go away tomorrow, whether this pass or not. It's going to continue. We have got to be the one to change this. If we can get in the mind of some of these people who are leaders, who see us different. Not as different, but as some human beings who deserve the respect as everyone else, who hold the key to this great nation, who want to be the ruler and the controller of this world, to see America or whatever by their own eyes and their eyes only. We got to change the mindset. We all are human beings, whether we are LGBTQ or we are a person of color. We all deserve the respect. And I'm going to support this regardless of how they feel about the outcome. And I know firsthand how they feel.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Any other board member comments? I will have one before we vote. Mr. Tavares was the only person who's spoken. I wouldn't even characterize opposition to this resolution. It sounded a lot like perhaps he was the lone voice in the room. I know I've received a lot of emails over the past couple of days on both sides. His opinion is not the only one in this parish. I hope, as we all walk out of here tonight, that the group of people who are in favor of this resolution take the time to speak to Mr. Tavares. And Mr. Humphrey, I swear to you, please don't read the KATC comments. They will do nothing for you. Not a thing, okay? We have an opportunity, someone who I think very sincerely believes what he said, and a group of people who very sincerely believe what you said. You have an opportunity to talk in person, not through keyboards. The words that we're about to vote on, me personally, I don't think they mean much. I think they're just words. But we have an opportunity to have a dialogue, to speak face to face, because I think we're more sincere when we're face to face. And I hope you guys all take advantage of that. So with that, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
6-4, none against.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda will be discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 08-19-1962 addressing bullying prevention. Mr. Knezik?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve Resolution 08191962 as attached in the public content section of this agenda item to address bullying prevention.
We have a motion by Mr. Knezik, seconded by Ms. Morrison, that the board approves Resolution 08-19-1962 as attached in the public content section of this agenda item to address bullying prevention. Do we have any public comment on this item? I know who you are, but please introduce yourself to everyone else.
How you doing? My name is Diana Lennon, and I am in District 8. I'm actually running for Mr. Knezik's seat in school board. I just want to say that this whole topic of bullying, although I haven't been bullied, it's really important for us to start talking. It's really important for these kids because it has gotten worse and worse. And I'm just very much in favor of it and hope y'all make the right decision. Do what's right.
Thank you, Ms. Lennon.
Hi all, I'm Rebecca Bowers again. The woman I was sitting next to who just introduced herself, we were trying to figure out where my school district is and we still couldn't figure it out. But I'm a hop, skip, and a jump from Edgar Martin Middle, so I don't know where that is.
Which side of Robley is the question? Johnston or River?
If you're like going down Robley looking towards Ambassador Caffrey, I'm toward the right. Okay. Awesome, I got the president. Okay. So I found it interesting that I didn't say anything about this, and I didn't put it in my little speech that I had prepared. I didn't prepare anything. But whenever I lived in Chicago, Illinois, I did work with the high schools there, and I worked with I worked with a lot of the schools and with a lot of the athletic programs. Worked with the coaches and worked with the volunteers to address bullying, specifically for our LGBTQ youth, but also worked with a lot of people within the preschool age and elementary. And so I heard somebody say that they, don't have, the right answer. And to be honest, not a lot of us do, but we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of answers out there. And so, something that a lot of people will talk about is if we see people doing well, then let's ask them. I think that's a really big deal. It's just to ask people, how else can we improve these kind of things? Whenever I was there, I watched and just observed, so just recalling memory here, observing young people sticking up for one another drastically changes how a person interacts in the classroom for the rest of that period. So say you're going into math class and it's already a difficult subject enough, and somebody has just picked on you, you can't focus, and if everybody says math is it has a foundation and it's a bunch of building blocks. If you don't have a foundation because you were just bullied in some way and you are absent-minded during the rest of that class, well, now you're behind, now you're failing a class, and now you're in remedial math in college, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that go on there, and for young people, it's a big deal to be able to say, well, you guys should stick up for each other. It's a big deal, but then, if we start training our kids, if we start training people, if we start talking about it, then they know what to do, and then it doesn't only go on to school counselors or to teachers or to principals or to families or to pastors or to, everybody shares, the support here, and I think that's what's really important. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers.
Good evening. My name is Marcus Allen. I come to you this evening as a local attorney and a parent. First of all, I want to commend the school board on your past vote. I think it's sometimes we have to just do what's right. Mr. Knezik, I commend you on even writing that. I struggled with coming up here whether I wanted to come up before on the LGBTQ comment or whether I wanted to come in this one, because it's all encompassing, because I think that the children are our greatest commodity. I have a child that attends Northside High School, and I went there for orientation. I've been all over the state. I've been in this parish here fighting As an attorney, I had 3 occasions on last year to come in and fight on this bullying issue. I listened to the statistics of the experts and the professors who spoke here, and it's horrific. You know, I was the person that Mr. Elroy spoke to today, and we spoke about how do we distinguish? At what point do we come in and do something? Because in my opinion, I don't think the past vote was, in my opinion, I don't even think it was hard. I think that we have to do all that we can to protect these children, because the children are our future. And I wouldn't care if we do it wrong. We err on the side of doing what's right and righteous. Now, we talked about one of the things that is just scary, and that is the side of these victims who will turn to sometimes killing themselves. I represented a kid this year, and I had to come over here. He was expelled. And this is the other side of the game. Besides wanting to kill himself, he took a knife to school. Okay? He ended up, but the parent had already called. The mother had already called. She told the teachers failed to do what was necessary. And this is the bad part about it. He went to protect himself because he didn't feel that he was going to be protected. So the question, we have to do something. I don't think these votes are really necessary. I think that we vote to put it on the books, but most importantly, when we put it on the books, we got to do what it says and be active about it. Because if we don't, we're going to experience what we've been seeing around the country. And that's when we're going to really have to go into executive session for litigation, when innocent people get hurt because somebody came to school and did a mass shooting. And it's one of our kids who has really nothing to do with the incident. So as we embark upon a new school year, I employ all these new teachers, administrators, parents, to do what you can. If you see it, report it. Take a proactive approach so that we can help our kids, we can help this community, and that we won't have to be back here on a different note. And if there's anything that I can ever do as a parent, as an attorney, please let me know. That's my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Dr. Keith Dorwick, UL Lafayette, St. Barnabas Episcopal, and P. Flag Lafayette. I just want to add a comment off of the last speaker. I agree with you 100%, except that I want to speak to the importance of documenting things. As a rhetorician, which is my professional training, the creation of such a document and the passing of these 2 resolutions creates a space in which people who want to do the right thing but are afraid to do the right thing can feel that they will be supported. So that's why it's really important to put this on paper. This means that this resolution will be available to people in the public who might think, boy, I've been trained all my life that being gay is wrong, and yet here's the school board saying this. That's a really important moment, right? And so I think, if I had been able to read such a document when I was in high school, I don't know that I would have contemplated suicide the times I did. I would have said, okay, I'm in a situation, but I would have felt much more comfortable going to one of my teachers if I had known that that was official policy. So while I agree in spirit with what you're saying, I understand that, but that's why I think in addition, putting this on the books is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dorwick. Any more public comment on this item? Is there any board member comment? Yes, sir, Mr. Knesset.
Mr. Tanny, I'd like to start by reading the resolution. Lafayette Parish School Board, Lafayette, Louisiana, Resolution 08191962, recognizing the need for effective bullying intervention. Whereas every day thousands of young people experience bullying from their peers while at school, after school, in their neighborhoods, and even when they're at home through social media and text. There are many ways to support bullying prevention as an individual or with friends and family and within your school or community. And whereas bullying directly affects a student's ability to learn, students who are bullied often do not want to go to school. They often find it difficult to concentrate, show a decline in grades, and lose self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-worth. And whereas students can be especially effective in bullying intervention, more than 55% of bullying situations will stop when a peer intervenes. Student education of how to address bullying for peers is critical, as is the support of adults. And whereas bullying is a community-wide issue that must no longer be ignored or thought of as a rite of passage, students, parents, and educators all have a role in addressing bullying situations and changing school culture. And whereas supporting and empowering Lafayette Parish youth to stop bullying is crucial to the success and future of our community and its budding young leaders, now therefore be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board hereby recognizes the need for effective bullying intervention and as such prohibits bullying for any reason. Certificate, I undersigned Secretary Treasury of the Lafayette Parish School Board, do hereby certify that the above and foregoing is a true copy of the resolution adopted at its regular board meeting of August 14, 2019, at which time a quorum was present, and that same is in force and effect. Dated Lafayette, Louisiana, this 14th day of August 2019, Mrs. Irma D. Trostclair, Secretary Treasury, Lafayette Parish School Board. Not to belabor the comments we made on the previous resolution, some of the feedback we got was accurate. You know, why are we just worrying about these kids? Why don't we worry about all kids? So we are. This is the solution to that. Bullying is wrong, whether you're LGBTQ or African American or Hispanic American, which I am, or a nerd, which I was. I think I still am. Or you're a jock. It doesn't matter.
You're
Bullying
short
is
too.
wrong.
Don't forget
I am
that.
very short too. Yes. Yeah, I am. Thankfully, I think I'm the tallest guy in every room I walk into. But we're answering. You know, if the critics' strongest critique is the fact that why are you looking at these kids and not all kids, the answer is we are. We do care about all kids. We care about those kids because whether you like it or not, it's a special issue. But we care about all kids. This resolution further enhances our attention to this issue. It gives direction to Mrs. Trostclair and her staff to take the proactive steps and do the things necessary to prevent bullying, which, as this resolution mentions, means educating our kids, teaching our kids, hey, when you see it, step in. Stick up for your buddy. Don't tolerate this. It's unacceptable. It's not the type of behavior we accept in Acadiana or in Lafayette. It's not okay. My kids know it's not okay to pick on somebody. I guarantee that. And that woman right there made sure that I respected everybody regardless. Regardless. I couldn't use those words in my house or else she would have knocked my head off, and I guarantee it. And that's how we need, I'm not saying you need to beat your kids, but we need to make sure that our children understand that bullying is not tolerated. With that, I do want to mention, while we're all in here, the sheriff, we still have some deputies here, but the sheriff, Mark Garber, proactively went out and sought an app that is available for all of our parents, all of our students. Every kid has a cell phone now. I think they issue them at birth. The app is called the Lafayette Parish Student Protect app. And on this app, a kid doesn't even have to publicly acknowledge that they saw something. They can say, they can click on the app and anonymously report a threat, or if they're being bullied, or if they see somebody being bullied. But we have tools now. We have tools where we can address things. This type of app reports to the SRO program. The SRO has direct access to our staff, and we can address it appropriately. I'm not saying every bullying situation is a criminal situation, but this app is a tool that we now have that we can use, and as related to this resolution, one of those proactive things that we're doing. We need more people to download this app, so if you are watching on TV, parents, please encourage your children to download the app. And again, it's called the Lafayette Parish Student Protect app. It's not a perfect app, but it's a start. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Knesset. Do we have any other board member comments? Before we vote, I'd like to thank Dr. Dorr for your comment. It has taken me 5 years now, and I'm still not accustomed to my words actually meaning things. and for people actually seeking out my opinion on things. And so, to me, these are words, these aren't actions. But your comment saying that having it on a piece of paper may mean something to someone, then I'm happy to do it. So, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Six for, none against.
Motion carries. That being the last item on our agenda, the meeting is adjourned.